So I've come to the end of the alphabetical list of public domain villains listed on the fandom website, and while most of my videos on the subject have featured 4 of them, the very last one listed in the Z's or Z's for any English speakers outside the US was too good to pass up. Welcome to my channel, KC, that's me, Carrytuck the Sledge Storyteller. I love the art of storytelling, its many forms and mediums, and its history. If you like this video, please click like. If you like this channel, please click subscribe, and while you're at it, make sure you click on the notification button. Thank you. So, more talk of public domain villains spanning from ancient myths and folklore to modern media in any form. And these are the ones that I see having strong storytelling potential even now. The Vril-ya come from the novel Vril, The Power of the Coming Race, by Edward Bulwer Lytton in 1871. Now, for clarity, there are no illustrations in the novel at all, so I'm going with what fandom chose to give visual reference, that being Gustave Doré's engraving titled New Jerusalem, depicting a scene from the Book of Revelation in the New Testament. Vril-ya are a subterranean race descended from ancient humans who fled underground after a great catastrophe on Earth's surface. They have evolved into a highly advanced, orderly, and somewhat alien society, both physically and socially distinct from surface humanity. They are often described as tall, graceful, and physically perfected compared to humans. They are ruled by a benevolent, autocratic system, but with little need for rigid laws because social harmony is maintained through discipline and respect. There's equality of the sexes, where both men and women take active roles in leadership, science, and even physical strength. In some respects, women are portrayed as superior. They have a theocratic worldview, believing in a single, supreme, divine principle. Their spirituality is tied to their use of Vril, as it's called. Vril is a mysterious, all-pervading energy force that the Vril-ya have mastered. It can be used for healing and sustaining life, destruction as a terrible weapon capable of annihilating armies or cities, controlling natural forces like electricity, magnetism, and gravity. The mastery of Vril gives them both technological superiority and a sense of destiny. So the villainous kicker for the Vril-ya, they regard humanity as a less evolved branch of their own lineage. The novel suggests if the Vril-ya ever returned to the surface, they would likely supplant humanity, not out of cruelty, but because they see themselves as fitter to rule. But the overall villainous concept here is the dangers of unchecked technological power, the possible obsolescence of current human societies, and the tension between progress and humanity's moral development. The Vulture, first appearing in Lightning Comics, Volume 2, Number 5, in Ace magazines in 1942, created by Jim Mooney. Not to be confused with the Spider-Man villain, but his real name is Larkin, and no first name given. He is the half-brother of Sam Larkin and the uncle of Linda Larkin. Sam Larkin is an inventor who created 2 key devices, the Purple Fog and a flame ray gun. He builds and rules over the Black City of the Sky, a floating city used as his base of operations. The Purple Fog that he uses as his signature weapon. It appears as fog, but can be hardened into a solid form. He also uses the flame ray gun invented by Sam Larkin, but he has flight through his city and wings, and uses his inventions as part of his villainy. His scheme involves trapping ships belonging to various countries, using the Purple Fog to hold them hostage, demanding millions of dollars for letting them go. He imprisons his own inventor brother Sam and niece Linda in his floating lab to control his inventions and prevent interference. He uses threats of mass destruction, hostage-taking, arson, and attempts to murder those who refuse to comply, both civilians and his family. His heroic foe is Lash Lightning, but he fights by using his inventions and defenses, and his wings can shield against Lash's lightning attacks. But what I can see be built upon with the Vulture, I see some Hitler or maybe Stalin elements here, ambition and power lust. Goals are grandiose, or blackmail and technical domination and mass hostage are implemented rather than petty crime. Has that element of family betrayal where he turns against his family to achieve his ends. And science invention has a double-edged sword. It's the same inventions that his brother made for defense are repurposed for tyranny. And he makes use of aerial transportation with the flying wings and are all tied to the idea of being above and dominating society. Zookeeper. First appearance was in Weird Chills #1 under Key Publications in 1954. The zookeeper is a supporting character in the story of the gorilla. He works at a zoo and is responsible for caring for the gorilla named Changa. His role is that of a caretaker, but also, in effect, an agent or servant to Changa's more mysterious or supernatural influence. He acts as Changa's major domo, or attendant or steward. When Changa exerts control, Lorna, one of the protagonists, becomes fascinated by Changa. The zookeeper speaks passionately about Changa's superior nature to her. One night, Lorna is drawn to the zoo under what seems like a hypnotic trance. Driven by Changa's influence, she ends up in a secret cavern beneath the zoo. The zookeeper appears there, serving in a ritualistic role. He declares that Lorna is to be Changa's bride. He addresses Changa as king on the throne with other gorillas around. The zookeeper is not portrayed as evil in a traditional sense. No indication of inherent cruelty, but he becomes an enabler of Changa's supernatural hypnotic control. He plays the part of the intermediary between Changa and Lorna. And in the climax, when Lorna's husband Ralph intervenes, shooting at Changa and then at the zookeeper is shot and killed, and his death breaks the trance over Lorna. The zookeeper character helps represent the idea of human complicity in supernatural, horrific events. He's human, but under the influence of something beyond normal, and he acts to facilitate Changa's will. He adds to the horror mood through his involvement in uncanny secret caverns, trance, rituals, offering a bride of all which heighten the sense of otherworldliness. Zed. First appearance in Airboy Comics, Volume 6, Number 12 in 1950 by Hillman Publications, created by Ernest Schrader. Zed was a bizarre, otherworldly villain. He was presented as a supernatural or alien-like menace, blending horror with science fiction, driven by malevolence and cruelty, often portrayed as sadistic in his crimes. Unlike ordinary criminals or war foes in Airboy, Zed was depicted as something truly abnormal, bordering on the monstrous, embodied the era's fascination with the grotesque and uncanny. But Zed is remembered as one of the more unsettling villains in Airboy Comics, contrasting the usual war-themed or adventure villains. His presence gave the series an almost Weird Tales-like horror edge, showcasing Hillman's willingness to experiment with pulp horror and their aviation adventure books. But application today, the star brain concept can be updated. Collective human consciousness, neural networks, AI, the internet, social media, influencing minds. Zed could manipulate algorithms, data flows, viral content to incite riots or reshape society. You could argue a bot on steroids. Zzutak. First appearance in Strange Tales number 88 in 1961 by Marvel, created by Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, and Jack Kirby. Yeah, there were quite a few characters that Marvel just didn't bother with keeping ownership of. Zzutak is a giant monster born from the imagination of an artist. A commercial illustrator named Ricardo Jones is lectured by mysterious benefactors to a remote Mexican jungle. They promise him the commission of a lifetime, providing unlimited supplies, food, and lodging, but only if he paints the creature they describe. Using enchanted plants, Jones brings to life the towering reptilian monster called Zzutak, whose name was chosen because it was strange and difficult to pronounce. Once completed, Zzutak comes alive, towering over the jungle as a living monster. The artist's mysterious employers are revealed to be evil conspirators who plan to use Zzutak as a weapon. Horrified, Jones tries to stop them, but Zzutak though terrifying, turns out to not be inherently evil. The creature rebels against its would-be masters. Ultimately, Jones paints another creature to battle Zzutak, and the two vanish back into the mysterious paints. Present-day application: maybe the paints resurface and Zzutak is summoned again, but this time his morality becomes more complex and he's a living work of art struggling with identity. He could even be recast as a guardian spirit awakened when dark forces misuse the paints. So this is the last video in this series about public domain villains that merit consideration for modern depiction. I agree, disagree, something I left out. Please let me know in the comment section. As always, the link to order the Sledge miniseries is in the description below. Give it a look. It's available on paper or digital format. I will keep saying it. Let's all look for civility amid all the bad news about social and political strife out there. Let's not hate. Let's see anybody we meet as a potential friend. Everyone be safe, and God bless.